Okay.
Okay, well, I kept feeling like there was something over here. When I walked over to sit here, my ears started ringing, but it was only this ear. So, just feel like there's something there.
Any other impressions? What did you get on your list there?
Well, I was kind of cold on this side. I really wasn't, I was okay on this side, but there's something about that door. I felt like there was, I don't know, something, it was just different.
Okay.
So,
What else?
well, I think the tablecloth. I was sitting here and I was like trying to see if I could see anything, and the tablecloth just moved. It was kind of weird. So.
How did it move?
Moved, like, it moved a little bit. It was kind of like back and then it just stopped.
What, this part here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's about it.
Pick up on any history of any names, types of people might have been here, or?
I didn't hear names, no.
Okay. Can we go next?
Okay.
Hold on.
I feel like it's a test or something.
No, it's not a test. It's not a test. I mean, if you didn't pick up anything,
I got like 3 different layers, like 3 different
Yeah.
time periods.
Yeah, I wasn't just getting this, I was feeling other things and just,
Yeah.
or is that okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anything,
Okay.
anything you get is new.
Okay. So do you want me to tell what I got in the other part of the building or just this
You
room?
can, anything you want to say, yeah,
Okay.
at all.
The first thing, and
Just don't repeat my things, George. No, I'm just kidding.
when we first walked in, I felt like we were met by a couple, a man and a woman, and the man had a dark coat on and a kind of a tall hat, and the woman had a white bonnet on. And I'm not sure what time period, but of course it wasn't anything modern. It was way back, and I think that they kind of consider themselves the caretakers, and they were I felt like they were showing me around. And so I asked the woman, I said, did you have children? Did you, when did you live here? And she said that they were the innkeepers at some period of time, and she didn't have any children, but she considered all of her guests her children. And so she was always mothering them. And the husband, on the other hand, he was the businessman. He was always going through and, moving this. And that's, I think maybe he's still doing that. He might just move it a little bit that way or a little bit this way. And they might, people in this realm might be seeing some movement of different things, movement of objects. And that's just because he was so particular about the way things were set. But his, this is kind of funny, I guess one of his flaws was he liked to smoke, either a pipe or a cigar, I wasn't sure which. But she didn't like the smell, so he was going through the building and with his either pipe or cigar. At first I thought cigar, and then I thought, no, he seems too sophisticated for a cigar. I think it was a pipe. But she didn't like the smell, so she had one of those little, those old-timey perfume things? And she would go behind him with her little thing and spray to kind of cover up the smoke. So I think maybe, some people might experience the smell of pipe or cigar smoke, and then they might follow it by a flowery smell, and that's her going behind him with her little perfume thing and trying to cover up, because she didn't like the smell of it. And that's what I picked up in the other part. And they're happy here, and they're perfectly content. They're not, they're not disgruntled. When I came in here, I felt like 3 different, like I said, 3 different time periods that were just layered on top of each other. The first thing I felt like I saw was men in here the place was full of smoke, and they're playing cards. And, they're having this really heated card game, and they're drinking and they're smoking, and they're just, but at some point they had an argument. A couple of the men had an argument, and there may have been some some scuffling going on, and I'm not sure how bad it got. I'm not sure if they, you know, if anybody died from it, but there was some sort of scuffle in here. Then I kind of saw that poker kind of thing kind of fall over, and I'm not sure what that had to do with, but I just thought that little poker thing kind of falling over. And then I would kind of go back and forth. So this other layer I saw was, I saw a bunch of slaves in here, and they're kind of milling around, and I'm not sure if they're hiding out here or if this was where they worked. I wasn't really sure, but there was a lot of them in here. And one woman in particular, she was just jabbering away. I really didn't get a conversation of what she was saying, but she was just like in charge, and she was very talkative, and she was just really kind of the take charge one, and then the other ones were just kind of milling around, or I'm not sure if they were working or if they were just in here, but I sensed their presence. And then the third thing I saw was, or I felt, was somebody who was very sick and may have had some sort of illness and some maybe tuberculosis or something. Was very sick in here, and I'm not sure if they were in here, like if this was their room or if they were just hanging out here or what, but I just felt like there was somebody here that was sick, and that I'm not sure that sick person was involved with the other, you know, the other layers. I think that was something separate. And the only name I could come up with was Henry. I got a Henry.
Okay. Go zoom over to you. Wait a minute.
Take your time, don't worry.
Gotta get your FaceTime going there.
Okay, we'll need to Photoshop it and everything.
Not at all.
Make it like Oprah.
Okie doke.
Okay. When I entered, the first thing I was seeing, like in the area milling around, were like gray coats and blue coats, and I was a little taken aback because they were kind of being copacetic, you know. And so I feel it's they're here coming to terms with it. You know, they know that that time period is over, but they really kind of enjoyed it here. They kind of enjoy the camaraderie. And as I was kind of looking at that, the person who I saw greeting me was really, she was a tough, almost like a matriarch, kind of had a mannish look. And like I think previous lifetime she might have been a soldier in England, and she told me not to, you know, she said Alice, so I assume I must have looked like a yes named Alice. Not to, you know, not to worry about those folks, and was I here for tea? So then as I was walking through, I could, some of the smells that I got, and I'm not sure because I got the same huddling almost as if I felt definitely some slaves or servants were here, and that there was a lot of crackling and crispiness and kind of a fire going on as if at one time they were hanging out here. But then I heard someone ask me if I wanted to see the infirmary, or like a place where, so I wasn't then quite sure if this was the area or where it is, or if it was down below, where there were people who were being tended to. It was almost as if one part here ended up being that. And I picked up a name of a guest that was Cobble, because when I heard Cobble, I wanted to know if it was a cobbler, and they said no, it's someone who comes from DC. So I didn't, and some of the names, I picked up a Robert and a Margaret, a George, a Horace, and an Eli, and I was almost wondering, I almost felt like Horace and Eli might have been someone who was of the working persuasion here. The pipe smell I smelled all the way through, but heavily when we entered here was almost like a smoking. It was almost as if at one time this might have been like a war room or a planning room where people kind of came to figure out what they were going to do or how they were going to hang out. I could hear a horse's like cry, like I could see it rising up and crying. And at that time it was almost as if like in your lair people were running in here and they were kind of battening down the doors. There was this vat in here of like boiling water and salt and almost the smell of iodine. And then there was kind of a flash to another time that wasn't here, and I could almost smell like sizzling popcorn, popcorn sizzling, and I could see people like stringing it, and there was a lot of like snow and kind of laughter that. And then there was a Joe, Joanne, or Joan, an Edgar or an Edward, and a William, and I feel they were like part of family. And there was one of the earlier males who lived here wasn't quite sure. He kind of had a longing for the mother country in a sense, and still felt an immense loyalty, and was kind of and he, along with one of the gray suited soldiers, said it's not much better now. So I thought that was pretty funny. Though we haven't come much further. And there was a little clanging of some glasses, and there's like footsteps that are heard, and things do get a little bit moved around because they really want you to know that they're there. And I think even in what would be like an eating area, that there might be something out of sorts, and they really, everyone I feel who's here is kind of peaceful, and I do feel that there may have been someone who stayed upstairs, or now that other building over there, was that like a place where people stayed, or was that workers, or what was that?
Across the parking lot?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't think it was part of the actual inn, though. No.
Okay, so it was something else, but there definitely was something else, even if it wasn't with this, that had been built before then, and just kind of torn down or back. And some of the soldiers who didn't make it there, I don't know how much land is back that way or what it is, but it was like there's like an area that nobody would know. It's almost like a little mass, like maybe there would be 10 people there that would be like totally unmarked, but there were a lot of angels around here, and that the hawk, because there was more than one hawk, but there was this place was really protected, and a Samuel and a Sarah, and that's what I got.
Okay.
And blue coats, and I was a little taken aback because they were kind of being copacetic, you know. And so I feel it's they're here coming to terms with it. You know, they know that that time period is over, but they ended up being that. And I picked up
a name of a guest that was Cobble, because when I heard Cobble, I wanted to know if it was a cobbler, and they said no, it's